Chatapalooza 2012. We're here in the Dartmouth admissions office, and we'll be here all day to answer your questions. Congratulations on getting into the class of 2016. We're really excited for you. My name is Chris O'Connell. I'm a 13, so at Dartmouth we go by a class year. That means I'm a junior. From Roswell, Georgia, which is a little north of Atlanta. I'm a geography and public policy major, and on campus I work here in the admissions office. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yep. Hi, my name is Eddie Zapata. I'm a 14, so I'm a sophomore as well. Well, not as well, but yeah, I'm a sophomore. I am from Houston, Texas, and I am a film major. Some stuff, I mean, I do like whatever video job people
He makes great videos.
So
great videos.
I work on videos on campus, and I'm like the photographer for the La Alianza, which is like a Latino social organization on campus.
Hi, and I'm Paola. I'm also a 14, a sophomore. I'm from Waukegan, Illinois. I'm majoring in sociology, but I'm pre-med. So, and what else?
What else? What do you do on campus?
Oh, on campus, well, I'm involved in like the pre-med society thing, which is interesting, and I'm also involved in DAC, which is like a Big Brother Big Sister program. So that's really cool.
Great. And so you said you do some photography for La Alianza, which is the Latinos kind of student and social organization. Are you involved in any of the Latino groups on campus?
Yeah, I'm also involved in La Alianza and Mecha.
Oh, great. Oh, what does that stand for?
Mecha is like Movimiento Estudiantil de Aztlán. And it's like a social movement, social issues group on campus. And although it does focus on Latino issues, we can talk about other things. So
yeah, I think you guys had something about the Dream Act or something last term. Yes, great. So it's kind of an advocacy sort of.
Yeah.
Group. That's awesome. Cool. So we're here to answer your questions about life at Dartmouth, and I know when you get into Dartmouth and when you get into colleges, you have lots of questions you want to hear from students. So that's what we're here to do for you today. So feel free to post your questions into the chat room right underneath the video on the website, and we can see that here on camera, and we'll get to all your questions today. So let's first start off with, why did you guys choose Dartmouth? I know it's 2 years ago now, so maybe it seems like a while back. But when you got into Dartmouth, kind of remembering that day, or that week rather, when you kind of found out all those decisions, what sort of swayed you to come here?
You go first.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I remember like I was at work when I saw like the admission, the email. So I was like, I ran to tell my boss, like, I got into Dartmouth.
You're like, I need to leave now. I'm done working.
Yeah, I'm done. No, but it was just very exciting, and I had visited with a scholarship group that I had. So I saw the campus, and I saw the people, and it was just interesting. I loved that it was so green.
Yeah.
So that kind of swayed my decision, just seeing
cool.
the campus.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of you will have an opportunity to do that later in April. April 19th through the 21st is our Accepted Students Weekend called Dimensions Weekend. And we'll post a link into the chat room for you to check out that program. But we'd love to see you come visit us and kind of get a sense of it for yourself. How about you? What was your experience like?
So I remember in the last month, for like right before we had to make a decision, I visited all three of my top three schools that I got accepted to. And I came to Dartmouth and two other schools. And at the other two schools I visited, I told them my top three choices, and they were like, "Don't go to the other school, but if you go to Dartmouth, it's fine." And then Dartmouth was so at both schools, the people I talked to said to go to Dartmouth if I didn't go to their school. And then I came to Dartmouth, and they were just like, "Come here." And I came for Dimensions, and that was the time I visited Dartmouth, and it was just I had a great time in Dimensions. It was really, really fun.
So you recommend it? You think people should?
Yeah. No, if you can come, definitely come and check it out.
Absolutely.
It's a blast.
And there's a lot of great events that will happen during Dimensions, and a few that come to mind is some of the student organizations, cultural groups, and different affinity groups will have like open houses, or there's an activities fair where all the different clubs and organizations will have a little table, and you can kind of get a sense of what the different groups are on campus. So I know we had dinner last term at the LALAX house, which stands for, correct me if I'm wrong, Latin America and Latino and Caribbean Affinity House, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. And so one of the options for after your first year at Dartmouth, everyone in their first year lives in just regular dorms, is some of the affinity programs. Do you want to talk about what your experience was with that and why you decided to live there?
Yeah, so...
And if you liked it?
So at Dartmouth, you get the housing number.
Like a lottery system.
Yeah. So it's a lottery system. They give you a random number to have the option to choose a house or to choose where to live. And mine was pretty bad. and I was like, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll be able to get a place that I like to live at. And so a lot of my friends applied to live at the Lilacs house, which is just it's a house that houses about 13 people. And like visiting the house a couple times last term, the Lilacs house is really related with like Latino activities on campus. So most of the like Latino, I guess, like groups
Like
around
meetings.
campus meet there.
Mhm.
And I wanted to be like, I guess last year I was sort of involved in the community, but this year I guess like living in Lilacs, I became a lot more active and going to a lot more meetings.
Oh,
and
cool. Because so many of the meetings were like in your house. They
yeah,
were-
yeah. So and then like if there's so we have all the meetings in the basement of the house, and so I was like might as well start going to the meetings since they're right here. And I mean I really enjoyed living in the house. Everyone really is like close and it's tight knit, and you really got to talk to people around the house all the time since everyone lives around there. There's like the living room, the kitchen, so you get to make your own food. And it's completely different than the freshman year, because in freshman year it's like a lot floor-based.
Right.
But then
right.
this time it's like the entire house, and it was neat.
Cool. Cool. So you'd recommend it living there?
Yeah,
I
but I
think-
also lived
Yeah,
in
I
Lilacs.
also
Oh, cool.
live there.
Okay. Great.
Um,
Great. And what was your experience?
My experience was similar to
Yeah.
that. I really liked living there, and
Mhm.
I think the thing that I most enjoyed was the Sunday dinners, where
Mm,
the whole
yeah.
house gets together for a dinner on Sunday, and 2 people cook. And although I wasn't a good, I mean I'm still not a good cook, but it was a good experience.
Yeah. What did you make?
The first time, what did I make? I can't remember, but this past time we made like a burrito bar. We had a burrito
Oh,
bar,
cool.
and each
Oh, that's
person had their own burrito, and it was fun. And you get to just talk to everyone who lives in your house,
Mhm.
and
Kind of like catch up on their weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so nice. Cool, cool. So, in addition to that Affinity program, which is run, I think it's a joint program between the Latin American and Caribbean Studies Department and the Residential Life Office. There's also the Office of Pluralism and Leadership, which is sort of like a community advising office. And so they do individual advising, where they'll just, if you have a question or an issue, you want to talk to someone, they're there, but they also advise a lot of the student groups and that kind of thing. And I believe La Alianza is kind of advised and housed out of Opal. But have you guys had any kind of experiences with the Opal community advisor for Latino students?
Rodrigo, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hosted a couple, I guess, like events with the Latino community. We had like a small retreat last term in a cabin near Dartmouth, and just a bunch of us went and got together, and it was like a lot of team building activities. We got to really interact with one another and became a lot more personal in terms of like our interactions with each other, and it was really fun. They had presentations about different things around campus.
Yeah, like
and,
different resources,
yeah.
stuff. Cool,
yeah.
cool.
So it really went well.
Yeah, it seems like all the community advisors, and there's different ones for international students and LGBT students, all sorts. They kind of do a lot of like programming different events and kind of like making sure that students in those specific communities kind of know what's out there for them. That's great. So we have our first question from Ethan Smith, and he wants to know, which colleges did you turn down? And obviously that varies by everyone. And I think it's important to keep in mind that people make their college decisions based on like a million different factors. And sometimes it's location and weather, other times it's financial aid, and other times it's, just a specific academic interest. So it's important to know that just because Eddie turned down college A doesn't mean you should turn down college A.
Yeah,
So it's really something like a personal choice. But you guys want to talk about like sort of that experience for you, and once you've had, were you both regular decision students?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So you had kind of that decision to make throughout the month of April, like
Yeah.
all of these students who are watching today, right?
Yeah.
Great. So what was your experience like with that?
Well, the college, my first 3 choices were Dartmouth, Boston College, and University of Chicago. I guess for me, it was just the thought, like I wanted to have other experiences. So I wanted to just get away from Chicago, since I am from Illinois. So
Right.
I just wanted to get a little bit further away from that and just have other experiences.
Yeah.
And Boston College, it was too big for me. I mean, there was just so many students, and I just wanted a little bit more personal, like community feel
Absolutely.
to college, and that's why I turned those 2 down.
Gotcha. And Dartmouth has about a little over 4,000 undergraduates, so definitely on the smaller end of schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
So, like all of them? Should I talk about all
I
of
would
them?
just talk about whatever you feel most comfortable talking.
All right. So I guess like my other like top 2 choices that of schools that I turned down were Rice. I'm from Houston, so Rice is like right there in Houston, smack dab in the middle, and Vanderbilt, which is in Nashville. And
Those are 2 very different schools in Dartmouth College.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like geographically.
So it was like so it's Dartmouth, Rice, Vanderbilt, and I really wanted to get away from home. I guess it's just like I know like living in. I mean, if I went to Rice, it was just like I would have been like I would have seen my parents like constantly. And
Yeah, down the
just,
street.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was it's a small campus. It's about 6,000 students. So it's a little larger than Dartmouth, but and it's in a city.
Yeah.
So it's completely different. But I guess I didn't want to be in Houston, living there 18 years and like
Right.
really just wanted to get away from the large city life. And then Vanderbilt, it was the same thing. I think it's a little larger than Rice, but I didn't want to be in a city. I don't know. I love experiences. I love new experiences, and going to Dartmouth is just I feel like it's just completely different than going to like most other schools. And I mean, and also like I went to a high school and my graduating class was 43 students. So I went to a decently small school.
Yeah, that's pretty tiny.
and I wanted to go to a small college as well. And so I chose Dartmouth. That was basically my number 1 from the get-go.
Gotcha. Cool. So just as a reminder, everyone, please feel free to post any questions you guys have about life at Dartmouth or adjusting to life here or kind of the college selection process in the chat room, and we can see that here on camera, and we'll get to all of your questions that you have today. One thing that I have been wondering about, and I live in Georgia, so I'm equally as not from the Northeast as both of you are, is what was that kind of like moving away, and not just like a little bit away, like not down the street, but like, across time zones really, to Dartmouth, and what was that like kind of as an adjustment? Because I know like I don't know if you guys, I'm the oldest of 5 siblings at home, and so I think my parents were a little like, oh my god, you're literally going so far from Georgia, and so I only go home on breaks. I can't just go home for the weekend, and I don't know, what was that like for you guys? Was that difficult or?
So a couple of things, like in Houston there's no seasons. Like it's either hot or kind of warm or extremely hot. Yeah. And so coming to Dartmouth, it was like, oh wow, it's actually fall. This is what fall is like.
Yeah.
It's warm and it's nice being outside and it's not 100% humidity like Houston is. And so the seasons was a big change. Like winter gets like 40 degrees max in Houston, and so coming to Dartmouth, I know before I came to Dartmouth, one of my biggest questions was like, how cold is it? Like, is it like Is it as freezing as people make it seem? And I mean, it's cold. I won't lie, but it's manageable. It's definitely the cold is manageable. It's as long as you layer up, it's fine. I would say. Then also I'm not the oldest. I'm actually the youngest. So growing up, I was always like the baby, and so
that's hard for families in a different way too.
Yeah,
if you're the last one to leave.
Yeah, and it was like rough for my parents because I was like the last for like 30 years. They had a kid because my oldest sister's 32. So like for 30 years they've had someone under the household, and this is the first time where no one's living there, and so it's rough going back and like. Seeing my parents, and like even my mom's just like, I don't have anyone to yell at anymore. And I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Well, how about you? What was your experience like?
Well, I'm also the oldest, so it was just hard to leave my siblings behind. But it's definitely worth it, and there's always Skype, and I always I Skype with my parents at least like once a term. Okay. And call them very often.
Right.
It's good to keep in touch with them, but it was a little bit hard to just come here with like where you don't know anyone, but after you get to meet people, it becomes a lot easier.
Right. Absolutely. And so when you guys first came, so most students end up going on their first year DOC trip, which DOC is the Dartmouth Outing Club, and it's sort of like a outdoor orientation, pre-orientation really. Did you guys participate in that? Yeah, it was that's sort of like people's like kind of crash course into Dartmouth a little bit, and because I know for many people like going to a totally new place, both like physically, geographically, and also socially. It's just like not knowing many people is so hard. But how was that like when you first got here? Whether it was your freshman trip or your floor or your over orientation, like when did you kind of feel like that first couple weeks you were able to kind of find friends and kind of like adjust socially, or was it tough, or how did that work out for you guys?
I would say our experience was a little different.
Yeah.
Right off, I mean, like DOC, like I was so excited. I was so ready to leave Houston, and I was working the entire summer before coming to Dartmouth, and
right.
I was just like, I remember like the day before I left, I was still working, and I was just like, get me away from here! I can't wait to go on my DOC trip. But I had a blast. The DOC trip, I did nature photography, and it was more hiking and looking at great nature sites than actually taking pictures. But like I had a really fun group, and we played Ninja all the time, and it was a blast. But afterwards, like adapting socially, I guess at Dartmouth, I did a program called FICEP, and so
that stands for First Year Summer Enrichment Program.
First Year Student Enrichment Program, which is for first generation students. And
we'll post a link to that in the chat room so you can learn about what that program is more in depth. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and like that was my crash course into Dartmouth, and that's how I met like a couple of my freshman friends, more or less. And
great. Cool.
It provided me like a foundation for Dartmouth.
Yeah, I was also involved in FICEP, so a lot of the people that I met initially were in FICEP, and a lot of the people I still talk to were in FICEP, so that was very nice just to have that group who's going through very similar things that you are, and it's just good to have someone to talk to like that. And for my DOC trip, I did hiking one, which I was terrified because I've never hiked before in my life.
Okay.
But it really was not bad, and like the trip leaders were so supportive, and they were just cool. And I mean, I still talk to a few of my trippies, which are like the people you go on the trip
the
with.
other current students. Yeah, right.
So that was fun.
Great, cool. So you guys would definitely recommend, especially with, I know FICEP, the First Year Summer Enrichment Student Enrichment Program, has grown a lot in the past couple years. That if students have the opportunity to do that, they should definitely.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends who were able to apply, but they didn't, and it was a simple application, and so they kind of regretted it afterwards. But at the same time, like even if my friends who didn't do FICEP, like they still like in terms of like getting adjusted to Dartmouth. They found their friends really quickly. Like as long as you like, just don't put your. I don't know. People get scared of putting themselves out a little bit, just because like the first time coming to a new community, and so like one thing I realized, like those that put themselves out, and like aren't nervous to like meet other people, easily like pick it up really fast.
Right. And so we posted that FICEP link to the chat if you want to learn more about that program. So we actually have a question from Danny18 in the chat. And they want to know, how was the Latino community at Dartmouth in terms of unity and celebrations? So, Paolo, do you want to take that one?
Sure. I think that the Latino community has gotten a lot better in terms of unity. There's just like there's the ability to go to meetings if you can make it, and if you can't make it to some meetings, you can just go back, and there's no pushback as like you're not here every week, so that's good, and then you can always like go back, and it's not like I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like
you don't feel like you have to like
exclusive.
Yeah, it's not exclusive.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and so that's very good. And since I lived in the Lilacs house, so a lot of the meetings are there. It's just a lot easier to just go to the meetings and have fun with people, and not necessarily have to hang out with them all the time.
Right.
And so what was the other question?
With celebrations.
Celebrations.
Yeah.
In the spring last year, we had like a celebration for Cinco de Mayo, which that was very interesting, and it was very successful. So we did that, and then Mecha had a Dia de Muertos celebration.
Oh, great.
So they made like paper skulls and stuff like that. So that was fun.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. How about you?
I forgot what was the question.
On unity or celebrations.
In the Latino community?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely, like, I feel like the organizations really do well in terms of, like, getting the Latino community together. There's La Alianza, which is, like, the social organization on campus, which is just, like, getting together and, like, talking about campus and, like, talking about each other's, like, personal experiences. And it's more like the fun social organization.
Yeah.
Then there's Mecha, as she was talking about, which is a little more political and addresses political issues over like Latino policies and stuff. Right. And then there's There's also Ballet Folklorico, which is a dance.
Oh,
Dance
right, I've
group
seen them
on
before. They're
campus.
great.
Yeah, and they go at it when they dance. I've been wanting to join. I don't have time to be involved as much as I wanted to. But they're great. They dance a lot, and then I feel like that's more or less.
They also have like Por Latino America, which is I think it's like more art based or like just film and like painting and stuff like that.
Cool. So it seems like kind of a wide variety. And I feel like what's really important among all those different things is like, especially in terms of unity, like I think what is often helpful is probably like the resources at Opal. And you said like even like kind of the beginning of the term retreat for different students in the community, like it's a way to kind of like come together for different things. So that's cool. So Opal's a really big part of that as well. So we have another question from Arturo G. And they want to know about the fraternity scene and specific to Latino students, and so NPHC and NALFO organizations. And I don't know if either of you are part of those, but especially in recent talks, both at Dartmouth and at other schools and across the nation, about hazing and kind of like what that means in Greek life and other sort of groups, and how that applies to kind of those Latino fraternal and sorority organizations. Are either of you members of Greek houses? Nope.
No.
Okay.
No, but
obviously you like know people who are, and absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
I was going to join one, but and then didn't, and I might next year, but it's debatable right now.
Yeah.
But one thing is, I guess so. Latino fraternities, there's LUL, which is Lambda Epsilon Lambda, which is technically like Latino based.
Right, and they're fraternity.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and so they're I guess like minority fraternity on campus. So it's not like mainstream. It's not like it's not like typical fraternities.
Yeah.
But in terms of hazing for them, I mean, I haven't heard of issues that they've had with that. A few of my friends joined and they had a blast, and so it's difficult to talk about because I don't know much about.
Especially when you haven't like done it yourself.
Yeah,
it's tough to exactly. No, totally. How about you? You're not in one, but
no, I'm not in one. But one of my friends is in the Sigma Lambda Upsilon, which is the Latino-based sorority.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah, like Eddie said, I haven't really heard much about it, like hazing in terms of hazing. But
Right. Absolutely. I think what's important, and it seems that Arturo has asked kind of a follow-up question about, maybe hearing, kind of rumors or talk about having to be silent for a term or something like that. And I think that's a great point, is that, and I've heard of that too, not necessarily at Dartmouth, but just like in general. And I think that every organization obviously kind of does different things to welcome new members and kind of instills a sense of like bonding and camaraderie between new members and current members. And so I think what's important is that, like, especially now in this, like, especially with recent articles and that kind of thing in the news, across both here and kind of across the country, that the people I know who are in Greek organizations and even like administrators who work with Greek organizations, everyone's sort of talking about it. And so, and I think it's a productive thing that happens a lot at Dartmouth, is when there's an issue or a problem or kind of a conversation, when there's an issue or a problem, there are conversations about them and how do we think about that and how do we move forward from those issues and kind of try to address them. And so while sometimes organizations, particularly at Dartmouth, like have done things that you would definitely might consider hazing, certainly in the past, I think it seems here, like especially in recent months and weeks, that there's lots of really productive conversation about what do we do now? How do we improve that? How do we make the experience better for students in those groups? Were you going to say something?
Yeah, Arturo also asked about beating and having to be silent for a term.
Right. Yeah.
From my friends that are in OUL, because I think since he's asking about Latino fraternities, that's the Latino fraternity.
Yeah.
They, from what I know, they don't beat, but they do tend to stay to themselves for a term. So for like 10 weeks, from my friends, I didn't really interact with them. I rarely saw them, so I know that they were constantly busy or like in the library or at an apartment working. So that's about as much as I know.
Yeah, and I think when and joining, and I have a friend who's in LUL, and like there's lots of like academic standards you have to meet, and you have to get to a certain GPA, like all that stuff. So there's a lot of kind of social and academic and cultural and all sort of different angles to it as well. So there's a lot of different dimensions within like what it means to be in a fraternity or sorority like that.
Yeah.
So another question, 2 more questions actually, from Ethan Smith, and he wants to know, what is the Latino community like off campus? And I have literally no idea actually, in the Upper Valley. So have you guys have any?
Off campus, I mean, like, off campus, there's really not many other Latinos.
Yeah.
There's so, like, I mean, like, we're
I think Dartmouth really is kind of the hub of a lot of culture and
we're
in this part of New Hampshire. But
we're as close to middle of nowhere of New Hampshire, I think, as you can get. And
yeah.
just like, I guess, like, the area around Dartmouth, there's not, I wouldn't say there's much of a Latino community because there's no Latinos, really. But
which should be essential for a community.
yeah. But I mean, Dartmouth's really diverse, and there's a large Latino community on campus, so it makes up for the lack of off-campus.
Absolutely. And I know, like, and I'm not sure what Mecha has done in the past, but I know other groups, not specific to Latino, but other groups like that are a little bit more politically minded sometimes will travel to like Boston or New York, and there's a conference or a rally or some interesting things like that. So we're not too far away from those things, and you know, from campus you can pretty easily get to Montreal and New York City and Boston. So I just remembered someone telling me about that last term, so it's kind of cool. So one more question from Nancy XOX16, and they want to know what the hookup culture is like. And so obviously this applies to all students. And so I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
Could you?
I don't know.
I feel like my like perception of it is that like undoubtedly like, I mean, let's be real, like that happens, like people hook up.
It's definitely prevalent. Yeah, it's definitely prevalent on campus.
Right.
But
I mean, it's not the like only like option. Like I've good friends who go on lots of dates with different people, just kind of like figuring their lives out. Some people who have been in like relationships for a really long time since they've been at Dartmouth. So I think it really just kind of varies. And I think what's nice is that like from experience, like knowing people who kind of have done like those different options, like I've seen firsthand, like it is possible to do all 3 of those things. And like, I don't think people are going to, I don't think you're like pigeonholed into like, oh, you can like only be in a long-term relationship or you can only like hook up. Like I think it's really kind of like whatever makes you feel most comfortable. But certainly, like we have to be honest and real. Like people hook up at Dartmouth, and that's like definitely a thing. But certainly not the only way. But
I feel like one major aspect to it is that the 10-week system, the quarter system, right. It makes it difficult to date at Dartmouth. I feel like that's definitely one of the issues. Because a lot of my friends is just like, oh, I won't see them for 6 terms or like over a year.
And so some people abroad. Yeah, absolutely.
So from studying abroad or off terms, it's sometimes you don't see your friends for a large portion of time, and so I feel like in terms of dating, that's one of the issues for why people don't date as much, I feel.
Absolutely.
And then there's also, I guess, like fraternities and the issue of going out and.
Yeah, especially since our social scene is so much on campus and sort of a small community, like sometimes people are hesitant to jump into that. So absolutely. Well, great. Thanks so much, guys, for coming onto the chat today and answering some of these questions. So our next chat is going to be starting in just a few minutes, and it's going to be hosted by some members of the Pan-Asian community here at Dartmouth. And so stay tuned and stick around for the rest of Chatapalooza. We have a number of other chats all throughout the afternoon and into the evening a little bit. So if you have any other questions, we're here all day to answer them. So we'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Congratulations again on being accepted.
Congrats.
And we hope to see you later this month at Dimensions, April 19th through the 21st. And we'll look forward to seeing you this fall. Thanks so much.